My name is Kate Holcomb, and today I'm going to show you how to make icing roses. So I have my rose nail here, and I'm going to put a little bit of icing on it so I can make my base for my rose. And I'm just going to stick it on parchment paper, a little square of it. So to make my base, I have a number 12 circle tip. You don't have to use this tip, you can use a rose tip to make the base also, but I like using this one because it makes it more uniform. So I'm just going to press down, and I'm going to keep holding, and I'm going to bring it up. And it's got a little tip on it there, so that's a pretty good base for a rose. And once you make the bases, I like to make them all at once. It's just easier because I've already got the piping bag and I've already got the icing. I'm just going to set it aside to let it harden because this is decorator's icing, and it will harden once you let it sit for a while. So I have some bases that I've already let harden and set up. So I'm going to put that on my nail, again with a little bit of icing on it so it doesn't fall off. And I'm going to take my rose tip. This is a smaller rose tip. You can use a bigger one if you want, but the smaller one works just fine. This is, when you do your rose, you need to make sure the small end is pointing up. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start with a cone for the middle of the rose. So I'm just going to put the icing on there and make a cone. Like that. You want to kind of wipe your icing off between the petals to make sure it doesn't leave back up. So then I'm going to go with 3 little petals, and I'm just going to kind of go right under that cone. I'm going to kind of move it as I go. Like that. So that was 3 petals, and then I'm going to do 4. Okay. And sometimes your icing starts slipping. You can just kind of thicken it up with some powdered sugar. Okay, and then I'm going to do 5. It's kind of sliding off my nail here. And then twist it around. Get the 5th one. Alright. So then I have my rose. And I'm going to let it sit, and that was a Wilton rose. So, if you want to see what that looks like, this is what it should look like. Okay, so, well, lots of petals. So now I'm going to use another base. Still, I'm going to put a little bit of icing on here so it sticks. I'm going to get another base right here, and I'm going to show you how to do a ribbon rose. It's just 2 different kinds of roses. They both look different, but they both look really nice. So I'm going to use the same tip, wipe it off, and I'm going to start with the pointy end, again the smaller end, and I'm just going to make that exact same cone to start out with. Just go around the tip, and there's your cone. Okay, and for this one, I'm not going to wave it, and I'm not going to do different numbers of petals on each one. I'm just going to take the tip and go around the whole thing. So, here's my first row, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do another row, just like that, and just keep it steady and twist your nail as you're doing it. I kind of start further down on my fingers, so when I twist it, it goes towards me. And then I'm going to do a 3rd row, and there's my ribbon rose. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, once you have your roses, you can let them dry for a little bit. You can put them in the fridge, but just don't leave them in there too long, because when you take them out, if you leave them in there too long, they'll have condensation on them. So, I'm going to put this on my cookie cake that I've made, and I put a border on it just using this big star tip right here. And I'm going to use this same tip to put my roses on my cake. And you can just kind of make a big blob so that it gives the cake some 3D effect, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to put this first rose on there, and then just take it carefully and put it on the cake. Just like that. And see, that gives it some definition. I'm going to take my other one, just put it right there on the cake like this. or however you want it. You can put the blobs anywhere, pretty much. Okay, and my third one I'm going to put on there. And see, these have dried, so they're a lot easier to work with. You can take them straight off the nail, but it's a lot easier if you let them dry. So here's my finished cake with roses on it. And from this point, you can make either like some stems or some leaves with your leaf tip, and then you can write on the cake with some balloons or whatever you want for whatever occasion. And that's all I have to say. I hope you know how to make an icing rose now.